Hey there, my friends. It's Bill MacDonald, the writing doctor. Wanted to say hi to all you students, parents, and teachers out there. Today's lesson is on capitalization. I look a little taller today, and that's the same thing that happens when you change a lowercase letter, a common noun, into a capital letter because it's a proper noun. And a lot of teachers will ask me, which grammar rules should I teach? Well, I've already mentioned that we should talk about penmanship and having a penmanship contract that the students sign. That's already been posted on my club. That we should have a weekly spelling test that includes vocabulary and voice. And we should, when we have kids who struggle with writing, not do holistic teaching where we just throw a passage at kids that has mixed skills, but if your kids don't have a skill in a particular area, then you teach them that skill. And so many teachers ask me, which one should I start with? Well, I would probably say start with proper nouns. Don't start with the first word in a sentence rule, because some kids don't know how to write a complete sentence, even in 4th grade or 7th grade. So today's lesson, as you can see, is going to be capitalization with proper nouns, underline, capitals, proper nouns, and titles. So I would suggest that you, students and teachers, and parents as well, get involved. Let's see how many different types of hats and caps we can find, so that when we're talking about capitalization, we can put on our capitalization caps. I got these from Dollar Tree. They sell them in sets of 5. Another one I want to show you. This is my golf hat, and it kind of keeps the sun out of my eyes. If I'm going to write with a whole sentence, what I like about this green one is that green means go. And so if my whole body is a sentence, then I'm going to start a sentence with a capital, and I might circle that first word green and make sure that it's underlined. I'm not needing to start a whole sentence. I'm just trying to work on a phrase. Then it doesn't matter what hat or cap we have. Here's another one. This is my favorite football team here, the Dallas Cowboys. So I can say capital. I love the capital Dallas Capital Cowboys. And it even says Dallas on here, but as you can see, all the letters are capitalized. We want to make sure that when we write a sentence, we only capitalize the first letter in the sequence, not all of them. So I have a little gold one here. Depending on the season, they'll sell you different kinds at the Dollar Tree. And so for kids you can trust, we can let them use toys as tools. I don't have to put on a real cap when I'm practicing capitalization. I can say capital, or I can show you this. That means I'm putting on a cap, something on top of that first letter, or I can do it verbally and kinesthetically, capital. That way I'm seeing something on the paper with my eyes, I'm saying something, and I'm also doing something kinesthetically. So I'm going to hear myself say capital, or put on a cap to associate with all of the rules that you can see here above. Capitalization with proper nouns, titles, places, and social studies. So let's take a look at the capitalization rules sheet. It's on page 107. Okay, so here we have page 107 in the binder, and it would be okay to go down this whole list one at a time, but if you notice, the first rule, first word in a sentence, would probably be the most difficult one, not because your kids can't write a first word, but they probably can't write a complete sentence that has a subject and a predicate and a punctuation at the end. So I would recommend you start with phrases. And so any of these that are phrases, which are most of them, I would probably do the first one last, first word in a sentence, and the last one towards the end, the first word in a direct quotation, because you're needing an entire sentence plus the tag, which is the person who's talking and the said word. So I'd recommend starting with proper nouns, proper nouns, capital, underline. So there's a bunch of them there. I'm going to list them very quickly. Dallas Cowboys, name of a team. The Alamo, a building. Ford Mustang, a car, a make and model. Alamo, Texas, city, state. United States, country. Ellis Street, street. Sunday, day of the week. Cantu Elementary, school. June 20th, 1963, my birthday. Social studies, the title when you put it on top of a paper. Statue of Liberty and a monument in Ellis Island. Walmart, a store. Dollar Tree, a store. Sam apostrophe S, a store. Whataburger, popular restaurant. Little Caesar apostrophe S. Capital DirecTV, a company. Capital YouTube, an internet service. So those are the ones that I have. And so what I'd recommend that you do is have your kids do something like this. And this should be for all subjects. Everybody making kids write their name, their date, their school, and their teacher, along with whatever the title happens to be. So let's see how many points, how many mistakes I can make. 1, 2, 3. Bill MacDonald, September 11th, 2020, capital September. So if they ask you, can I just write 9/11/2020 or 9/11/20? Tell them no, so that you can make them practice capitalizing the month and putting a comma between the day and the year. Okay. Cantu Elementary, the name of my school. Capital Mrs. Capital Santian, that's her title, and her last name. That was the lady who took over my class when I stopped teaching to go into consulting. My son Israel was in her class. All right. The title of our activity today is called proper nouns. And so what I recommend you do is number from 1 through 8. Okay. This is going to be part 1 of a 2-part activity. We can learn geography, or if you want to call it social studies, not Texas history, but a little bit about geography. Address, not capitalized, but my address is 635 East Ellis Avenue. Or you could say 635 Capital East, Capital Ellis, Capital Avenue. One way was verbal, one way was kinesthetic. City, lowercase, when you name the city. Alamo, or Capital Alamo, or Capital Alamo. The county, lowercase, name the county. Capital Hidalgo, Capital County. I'm making it verbal and kinesthetic. Number 4, a state. Some students don't even know any of these first 4. And so you need to make sure that they know their own address, their city, their county, and their state. If not, many kids are living what we call a state of confusion. We've got to get them back in the state of Texas. Capital Texas. Our country is the Capital United, capital states of Capital America. Our continent is Capital North, capital America. Get a little bigger. Our planets, our solar system, we have the sun, the moon, and we can do Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and for those of you who still believe in our little planet way out there, Pluto. All right, but the main ones are Earth revolves around the sun, and the moon revolves around the Earth. We want to make sure we know those. And the name of our galaxy is called the Milky Way, not the candy bar, but the galaxy. One more cool activity that you can do for today's lesson. If you're a 4th or a 7th grade teacher, one of the first things that I did as I made my kids, I put away all of the maps of Texas, made sure all the books with a picture of Texas were out of sight. And so step 1 is they had to draw a picture without looking, without seeing it, more or less of what they think the shape of Texas looks like. All right. So if I want to let you know that when I counted all of these, if I count every single capitalization mistake that I could possibly make, the ones just from this list, there were 25. And so if you know those, then 25 times 4 is 100. Your students could get 4 points for each one that they do correctly, or they lose 4 points for each one that they get wrong. So on this one, this could be a great social studies activity where you can be practicing geography, learning different things about Texas. The country that's below us is called Mexico. And so you'd have to have your kids look these up. But the funniest part is, first step 1 is see if they know what Texas even looks like. And so without any guidance or direction, have them draw an actual picture, an outline of what they think Texas looks like, because that can be part of the grade. The body of water here to the right is called the Gulf of Mexico. The river that separates Texas from Mexico is called the Rio Grande River. Okay, a couple of big cities in Texas: capital capital Antonio. This one here, capital Austin. And it's not exact, but these are pretty close to the right place. Capital Houston. So the major cities. We've got Fort Worth up here and Dallas. Capital Fort, capital Worth, capital Dallas. Way over here to the left, a lot of my followers are out there, so you would get angry if I left you out. So we'll say that's capital El, capital Paso. You guys are the only ones in Texas in a different time zone than us. These guys are 1 hour earlier than us. In case you didn't know that, our state is called Capital Texas. Going a little higher, we have Capital Lubbock. I've spent a lot of time with teachers over there. And Capital Amarillo is a little bit higher. And then if we want to, for extra credit, what are the states that surround Texas? Over here we have Capital Louisiana, Capital Arkansas, Capital Oklahoma, and Capital New Mexico. I think that's right. I hope it's not Arizona, but I'm believing it's New Mexico. All right, so the last one, what is the river that separates Oklahoma from Texas? It's called the Red River. And so just a little bit of history. Every year, the Texas Longhorns play a big football game against the Texas Longhorns play a big football game against the Oklahoma Sooners, name of a team. And they call it the Red River Shootout. Since that's the name of the contest, then that's what we call it. And it's usually played somewhere in Dallas. I can't remember the name of this. I think it's played at the Cotton Bowl in most cases. Sometimes the Dallas Cowboys let them play it in their state. So we'll stop with that for today. Uh, that would be something I would recommend that you start with. My next activity will be one little step further in proper nouns. Don't forget, students, every time you're reading with your teachers for math, for social studies, science, when you're seeing a capital, either just quietly pretend to put on a cap or whisper capital whenever you're working by yourself or with a partner. That way you can always pay attention. And what you can do is be thinking in your head in case the teacher asks, what rule of capitalization is that? Why is that being capitalized? And so the one we're learning today is just proper nouns, the names of people, teams, buildings, cars, schools, streets, stores, restaurants, lots of important things. So that is from page 107. And then, of course, we can just do those drawings of Texas for social studies and practicing geography, knowing the names of starting with our city, all the way to our galaxy. You guys have a great day. Take care.